Hey, what's going on? Dalton Daughtry here, and I'm excited to share with you the one mistake that I see SDRs making consistently that leads to unproductivity, missed quotas, unfulfillment, PIPs, personal improvement plans or performance improvement plans. And this mistake is easily avoidable, and it's something that I was very tempted to make in the beginning, but basically what happened for me was I had a conversation with the top producing rep as soon as I got onboarded, and what he shared with me changed how I looked at my role and has defined the success that I've had since I've been in this position. And so, within 6 months, having never been an SDR, no SDR courses, no trainings, anything like that, just a fresh green SDR. I went from brand new to top producing rep at my company, President's Club winner, all this stuff within 6 months, and consistently exceeding quota. And it was because of this one mindset shift, and I eliminated this one problem. And again, I see it happen all the time. And so the main issue folks have, I've noticed as SDRs, especially inbound SDRs, is that they're prospecting candidates, they're talking to people who had interest, but they're qualifying out versus qualifying in. And so for me, I just simply switched that around and started qualifying people in versus qualifying them out. And I started to book a lot more demos. I started to see a lot more results. I started to hit quota consistently and exceed quota. And basically the shift for me was, in the beginning, I was calling people and I was creating a lot of defense or a lot of sales reluctance. And, these people I was talking to, they weren't really excited to be talking to me because I felt like I had to sell them something. I felt like I had to convince them of something. And what I learned to do was, instead of just qualifying people out by trying to figure out, hey, do you meet these certain criteria? If so, then we can move you on. I started just assuming that they're going to meet those criteria and that they're going to be a qualified candidate. And instead of me focusing all my energy on, do you check these boxes, I started focusing my energy on, hey, how can I help you make the most out of this conversation because you've already shown interest? And so I made this switch even on my calls. Like if I was giving an outbound call to a prospective candidate, instead of calling the person up and just, first hammering them with some questions to qualify them and make sure they were good to go, I actually started booking the demo first thing. And so I'd call them up and I'd say, hey, John, this is Dalton here at Rippling. Saw you had interest in our product, was just calling to set up a few minutes to chat with you. What's your calendar look like over the next week or something like that. Right. And what I was doing was I was in their mind, basically I wasn't coming across as a sales guy. I was basically just setting them up to where I'm just, helping make them a connection with somebody in our company that can help them with their inquiry. So instead of me calling and saying, hey, how many employees you got, what's your annual revenue, are you a decision maker, what's your buying cycle look like, what's your timeline look like for making a decision, do you have the authority, all these different things. I was assuming that the person had interest and that they can actually help promote change within their organization, and I was just going to go ahead and get on the front end, get them to confirm a time for a call. And so this one increased my conversion rates on calls dramatically. Now rather than me calling and pestering somebody with a bunch of questions before I'd even agree to give them some time, now I'm giving them the time, and on the back end I'm like, hey, sweet, great, Tuesday at 3 p.m. works for us too. A couple quick questions just to make sure I set you up for, an effective use of your time. I want to make sure that we maximize your time, tailor this conversation to you and your company. Hey, how many employees you got? What's your, revenue goals? Whatever the questions may be, right? Just depends. So this one little switch made a huge difference for me personally, and I started to see a lot more traction, a lot more results. And naturally, as a result, people were less defensive, and I started to see myself not as a guy that's selling something. I don't have to sell the demo. I've heard people teach this. just go sell the demo. Your job is to sell the demo. I don't have to sell anything, especially if I'm an inbound rep. If I'm an inbound rep, all I'm doing is connecting, right? This person showed interest. There's an account executive over here waiting to help serve this person and qualify this person. The account executive will qualify out as necessary, but my job is to bridge this, this connection between interest and the right person to talk to that can help. And when I started actually just making that simple shift and just serving as a connector, calling up, hey, I'm just calling you to, saw you showed some interest, to get some time on the calendar with you to answer whatever questions you may have. I know you're busy, right? I know there's all these cold call scripts out there. Hey, do you got 60 seconds? Can I have 27 seconds of your time? Hey, is this, Johnny? Hey, are you the one who's in charge of this? That's all great. But if the person has some interest, then I'm just going to call and just say, hey, I'm going to state my intent on the very front end. Hey, this is Dalton over here. Was just giving you a quick call to set up a few minutes with you. Are you looking at your calendar? I know you showed some interest. What's a good time for you next week? Are you available Tuesday afternoon, or would Wednesday be better? Just something like that. So, as soon as I started making this shift and I started prospecting people in, I'm assuming before I even called them, I'm not doing a ton of research. I'm not creating this analysis paralysis that I see so many people do so often, where they sit and have these arguments whether or not in their mind is this person qualified or are they not. Their title might not mean they're qualified. Does everything line up? I'm looking at their LinkedIn, looking at their website. Are they going to be a good fit? Like, there's just so much unnecessary effort to where, to make me more effective, I just started assuming this person's probably had interest because they think we can help. And there's probably a pain point. There's probably a gap. There's probably an issue that they're dealing with that they think we could help solve. And so I'm going to go ahead and reach out to this person. I'm going to go ahead and just be that bridge for them, just connect them to the right person that can serve them here at our company. And I'm going to get out of the way and watch the magic happen. So anyways, hey, again, Dalton Daughtry, like, subscribe, follow, shoot me a comment, shoot me a DM. Hope this helps in your prospecting efforts and in your quota attainment efforts as an SDR, and catch me on my next video.